they are new in it. They would not have a great many preconceived ideas in approaching it.
Now, one of our big problems, the biggest between us, and I don't want this to repeat to anybody, is Lodge.
I know it.
He ain't worth a damn. He can't work with anybody.
Well,
he won't let anybody
out there.
He won't let anybody else work. We get the best SIA man to put on all the radios and try to get them to be loyal to the government and to be fighting and quit
the emperor out there.
And he just he called in the SIA and said, I handle the newspapers, magazines, and radio myself, so the hell with you. So that knocked that guy out. Then we send out the best CIA man we got, and he said, I handle the intelligence, the hell with you. Then he wants a new deputy chief of mission. We get him to give us some names, and we pick one of those, the best one we got, send him out to run the damn war, and he gets where he won't speak to the deputy chief of mission. And we got General Harkins out there, and we thought he was a pretty good man. He gets where he can't work with him, so we send Westmoreland out. And it's just a hell of a mess, and you can't do anything with Lodge, and that's where McNamara is so frustrated. He goes out, and they get agreements, and he issues orders, and he sends stuff in there, and then Lodge takes charge of it himself, and he's not a take-charge man, and he just gets stacked up there.
He never has followed anything through to conclusion since I've known him, and I've known him for 20-odd years. He never has. I went out with him around the world. In 43, the only committee went out during the war. We went everywhere, and Lodge is on there. He's a bright fella, intelligent fella, but he's just not a man that persists. And he thinks he's dealing with barbarian tribes out there, that he's the emperor, and he's going to tell them what to do. There ain't doubt in my mind, but he had old Dean killed out there himself. So
that was a tragic mistake, and we've lost everything.
You want to get somebody with more pliant to Lodge to do exactly what he said right quick. And he's living up on cloud 9. It's a bad mistake. I don't know. I think probably the best thing you could do would be to ask Lodge if he don't think he's about time he's coming home.
Well, he'd be back home campaigning against us on this issue every day.
God Almighty, he's going to come back anyhow when time comes. I'd give him a reason for doing it. He's going to come back. If you bring him back now, everybody say, well, hell, he's back because Johnson removed him out there. MacArthur couldn't, with all of his power, couldn't hurt Truman because everybody would have said, well, hell, he's just mad because he got removed. And though millions sympathized with him in it. And you need to worry, Lodge will be in here. In my judgment, he'll be on that ticket in some way. I don't think they'll nominate him for president, but they may put him on there for vice president. Whether they do or don't, he'll be back here campaigning for that campaign's over. I don't know. I'd better take that back. This thing is so hopeless for the Republicans. I doubt that he certainly got enough political sense to know that and not get his head chopped off in a perfectly foolish
He's probably got any judgment on a thing like this?
Yes, he has. Yeah, he has, but though he's inclined to...
he's the area of the world, mostly, isn't he?
I think Clay has... he knows... I'd take his judgment on most anything if he'd separate himself from his predilections, and he don't have any out in that part of the world. And I think people generally have got a good deal of respect for Clay's judgment, too. And there's a great deal of affection and respect for old man Bradley. He's not in his dotage yet by a hell of a lot. I got him up here the other day getting some advice from him on some matters, and I found him very alert. He's so humble, I don't know. He gets to be a doormat for Lodge out there. But he's an intelligent man. Now, Clay wouldn't. Clay will he'd stand up to anybody if he feels like he got any support from the higher up places. I just don't know. It's a tragic situation. It's just one of those places where you can't win. Anything you do is wrong.
Well, think about it. You told me.
Oh, that's right. I thought about it. I have worried about it, and I was afraid about it. Yeah.
I don't believe we can do anything.
Religiously, I have, because it's something that frightens me, because my country's involved over there. And if we get into there on any considerable scale, there's no doubt in my mind but Chinese will be in there, and there we'll be fighting a dang conventional war against our secondary, not potential threat. And it'll be Korea on a much bigger scale, and a worse scale, because the peculiar physical configuration of Korea made extensive guerrilla fighting impossible. But that's not true over in there. If you go from Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam and bring North Vietnam into it too, it's the damnedest mess on earth. The French report they lost 250,000 men and spent a couple of billion of their money and $2 billion of ours down there. And just got the hell whipped out of them, and they had the best troops they had, including practically a division of crack German troopers who were starving, and enlisted in the Foreign Legion went down there.
You don't have any doubt, but what if we go in there and get them up against the wall, the Chinese communists going to come in?
There's no doubt about it.
That's my judgment, and our people don't think so.
There's no doubt in my mind about it. You'll find Chinese volunteers in there as soon as you get, very shortly after we have active combat units engaged.
Now, Mike writes me a memo, and all he says is that we continue to support the Vietnamese, and that's number one. And then to the reflex of peak and face saving at every essay of de Gaulle's, well, we've not peaked. We just asked de Gaulle to give us a blueprint, and he don't have it. He just says neutralization, but ain't nobody wants to agree to neutralization. And we're asking who will agree to go with old Ben Milam. We're ready, but he just said, well, we have to continue to maintain our strength and get in a position. But he's got no blueprint. 3, a realistic facing the fact that we're in this situation without reliable military allies. Well, I know that. 4, an exploration of the possibility of the United Nations or some other arrangement. Well, this is Mike Nixon, and they won't do a damn thing, even on the Cambodia border. We can't get a majority vote in the Security Council. A willingness to entertain any reasonable proposals for international conferences. Well, we were ready to confer with anybody in time, but the conferences ain't going to do a damn bit of good. They ain't going to take back and give us territory and behave. We tell them every week. We tell Khrushchev. We send Anna and Hanoi and all of them word that we'll get out of there and stay out of there if they'll just quit raiding their neighbors. They just say, screw you.
That's right.
So the conference won't do it. Now, the whole question, as I see it, is it more dangerous for us to let things go as they're going now, deteriorating every day?
I don't think we can let it go, Mr. President, indefinitely.
Then it would be for us to move in.
We either got to move in or move out.
That's about what it is.
Future. You can make a tremendous case for moving out. Now you take the Nixon one for moving in, but
Nixon, Rockefeller
would be more consistent with the attitude of American people and their general reactions to go in, because they could understand that. But getting out, even after we go in and get bogged down in there with the war with China, would be it's going to be a hell of a mess. It'd be worse than we are now. To some extent, that's what makes it so difficult. And don't forget that old Ben Milam, the only man got killed. And he said, who's good with old Ben? He's a great hero, but he got killed.
That's right.
And the old man was killed. And if they start off with Ben Milam, which they ain't going to do to any side degree, they'll get out and Ben be killed. It's just a hell of a come on. I don't know. I don't know how much Russia, they won't cause us all the trouble they can, but if there's any truth in the theory that they are really at odds with China, and really is a cleavage there.
They are, but they'd go with them as soon as fight started. They wouldn't forsake that China, that communist bloc.
I wasn't talking about fighting in that, but what we might get them to take an active part in getting those in getting the thing straightened out. However,
we're doing all we can on that, but she doesn't show any signs of contributing anything.
They'd be foolish to, from one extent, because we just continue to pull his money in there and get nothing back out of it. We don't even get goodwill back out of that. And I just don't know. And I don't know where to go for advice. I just don't know where to go for it. McNamara is the smartest fellow any of us know. But he's got so damn, he is opinionated as hell, and he's made up his mind on this. I don't think it, any amount of crap.
Well, I'll tell you what he's done, Dick. I think he's a pretty flexible fella. He's gone out there, and he's got Con to agree that we cannot launch a counteroffensive or hit in the north until he gets more stabilized and better set in the south. And he thought he was buying us time and we could get by till November. But these politicians got to raise hell, and Scripps Howard writing these stories. All the senators, Nixon and Rockefeller and Goldwater, all saying, let's move, let's go in the north.
That was a devastating piece that Lucas had on that page, just a little old paper. That's right. I don't cover much of the country, but if that got out everywhere, that'd raise a lot of hell.
That's right, and they can always get an isolated example of bad things. McNamara says that that's not generally true, that there have too many damn people being killed every day. And that they're flying the sorties, and they're getting some results, and they're killing thousands of their people, but we're losing more. I mean, we're losing ground. And he was hoping that we could avoid moving into the north, and thereby provoking the Chinese.
Well, there ain't any way
for a few months.
You know well as I do, we've tried that, and from infiltration and guerrilla war standpoint, with disastrous results.
Lodge, Nixon, Rockefeller, Goldwater all say move.
Well, and bombing all the old men and women and infuriate everybody.
No, they say pick out an oil plant or pick out a refinery or something like that. Take selected targets, watch those trails, they're coming down, and try to bomb them out of them when they're coming in.
Yeah. And what you can't, that's just impossible.
McNamara said yesterday that in Korea that LeMay and all of them was going to stop all those tanks. That night he came through and they turned all the Air Force loose on him. They got one. 89 come on through.
We tried it in Korea. We even got out a lot of old B-29s to increase the bomb load and sent over there and just dropped millions and millions of pounds of bombs day and night, and in the morning we'd knock out the road at night, and in the morning the damn people be back traveling over it. That's true on that railroad over there on the north coast. We've used the Navy and these 14-inch rifles and knocked the whole mountain down on it, shelled it, and knocked all these whole mountain down and covered up railroad tracks. Everybody said, "I'm glad we got them now," and the next morning their trains are running like the devil right over that track. And we shot up several $7 million worth of shells to thinking we'd close it. We never could actually interdict all their lines of communications in Korea, though we had absolute control of the seas and the air, and we never did stop them. And we ain't gonna stop these people either.
Well, they'd impeach President though, it'd run out, wouldn't it? I just don't believe outside of Morris, everybody I talked to says he got to go in, including Hickenlooper, including all the Republicans. None of them disagreed with him yesterday when he made the statement that we had to stand. And I don't know how in the hell you're going to get out unless they tell you to get out.
If we had a man running the government over that door to get out, we could sure have.
Oh, yeah, that's right, but you can't do that.
And I don't know if we get somebody, if I can't remember that fellow's name, is some sort of a maverick fella that's got a big following down in there below Saigon, and our people all hate him because he's always against the government, and not fighting them and all, but he's a very powerful man in Vietnam. And now everybody takes over the government, gives him his excuse for their repressions and suppressions. And if he were to get it and say, "Now you damn Yankees, get out of here, I'm running this government now."
Wouldn't that pretty well fix us in the eyes of the world, though, and make it look mighty bad?
Well, I don't know. We don't look too good right now. And of course, you look pretty good, I guess, going in there with all the troops and sending them all in there. But I'll tell you, it'll be the most expensive venture this country ever went into.
I've got a little sergeant over that works for me over at the house. And he got 6 children. And I just put him up as the United States Army and Air Force and Navy every time I think about making this decision and think about sending that father of those 6 kids in there. And what the hell are we going to get out of his doing it? And it just makes the chills run up my back.
It does me. I just can't see it.
I haven't got the nerve to do it, and I don't see any other way out of it.
Much sense to it. It's one of these things where hit I win, tail, you lose.
Well, think about it, and I'll talk to you again. I hate to bother you, but I
can help you. God knows I do, because it's a terrific quandary that we're in over there. We're just in the quicksands up to our very neck, and I just don't know what the hell's the best way to do about it.
I love you, and I'll be calling you.
I'll see you soon.
Monday, November 4th, 1963. Over the weekend, the coup in Saigon took place. Culminated 3 months of conversation about a coup, conversation which divided the government here and in Saigon. Opposed to a coup was General Taylor. The Attorney General, Secretary McNamara, to a somewhat lesser degree, John McCone, partly because of an old hostility to Lodge that causes him to lack confidence in Lodge's judgment, partly as a result of a new hostility because Lodge shifted his station chief. And in favor of the coup was State, led by Abel Harriman, George Ball, Roger Hillsman, supported by Mike Forrestal at the White House. I feel that we must bear a good deal of responsibility for it, beginning with our cable of early August, in which we suggested the coup. Cleared, in my judgment, that wire was badly drafted. It should never have been sent on a Saturday. I should not have given my consent to it without a roundtable conference in which McNamara and Taylor could have presented their views. While we did redress that balance in later wires, that first wire encouraged Lodge along a course to which he was, in any case, inclined. Argument.
people. We know that you've got a collection of photographs about current size of steel and current size of art. There's no reason why you people can't keep it round first. Now, in the meantime, the United States has got to determine all of these big bombs and all of that stuff. We've got to keep a big thing. They're enormous airports. Your expenditures in those things don't need to be very heavy, but you've got to begin to produce these conventional and land forces. Well, they said, well, you ought to be just the old Iron Man, and you come in and be the grammar boy. And I said, well, we're trying to find out how can we put together our assets to have the best defense. Now, I tried to serious about it. I mean, they said they accepted it. But as time has gone on, and for 8 years, I've desperately tried behind the scenes to get these people to admit we ought to be going to get out. They wouldn't do it. And I'm afraid that just through custom, they have begun to take the thing as their right. But this is just and if you say, well, you have to do a little more, you have to pay for this or that, they get emotional. But Mr. Adler started off to tell me about relations between France and Germany. These, he said, were improving markedly and rapidly. And both he and General de Gaulle are committed to complete rapprochement, and that his own trip through about 6 or 7 days in France has been almost a triumphal tour. He's very pleased. And he said he thought that this was going on to show that very soon they would be allowing all people to go back and forth with leverage without cards like we demand at the card we carry on with Mexico and so on. He said it's all just free circulation.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, the gentleman there.
I'll put it on. Yes, sir. Ready?
Hello? General, how are you? Oh, fine. General, I just wanted to bring you up to date on this matter because I know of your concern about it. We got, Friday night, got a message from Khrushchev which said that he would withdraw these missiles and technicians and so on, providing we do not plan to invade Cuba. We then got a message, that public one the next morning, in which he said he would do that if we withdrew our missiles from Turkey. We then, as you know, issued a statement that we couldn't get into that deal. So we then got this message this morning. So we now have to wait to see how it unfolds, and there's a good deal of complexities to it. If the withdrawal of these missiles, technicians, and the cessation of subversive activity by them, well, we just have to set up satisfactory procedures to determine whether these actions will be carried out. So I would think that if we can do that, we'll be find our interests advanced, even though it may be only one more chapter in a rather long story as far as Cuba is concerned.
Of course, but Mr. President, does he put any conditions in whatsoever?
No, except that we're not going to invade Cuba.
Yeah.
That's the only one we've got now. But we don't plan to invade Cuba under these conditions anyway.
Oh.
So if we can get them out, we're better off by far.
That's correct. I quite agree. I just wondered whether he was trying to, knowing we would keep our word, whether he would try to engage us in any kind of statements or commitments that would finally one day could be very embarrassing. For instance, suppose they started to bombard Guantanamo.
Right.
What I'm getting at, I quite agree this is a very, I think, conciliatory move.
Right.
Provided that he doesn't say that.
Oh, well, I agree.
Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think what we've got to do is keep... That's why I don't think the Cuban story can be over yet,
I think we will retain sufficient freedom to protect our interests. If they engage in subversion, if they attempt to do any aggressive action, so on, then all bets are off. In addition, my guess is that by the end of next month, we're going to be toe-to-toe in Berlin anyway. So that I think this is important for the time being, because it requires quite a step down for Khrushchev. On the other hand, I think that as we all know, they just probe, and their word's unreliable, so we just have to stay busy on it.
As I've heard before, these people do not equate. I think it's been a mistake to equate Berlin with Cuba or anything else.
Right.
They take any spot in the world, they don't care where it is.
That's right.
And it's just the question is, are you in such a place you either can't or won't resist?
That's right.
For example, we got into Tibet. Nothing to Tibet.
Yeah.
Up that mountainous country, and we couldn't reach it.
Right.
And so, what you can do then is subvert yourself. That's all.
Right.
So they get you and they probe when you can't do anything. Then if they have another place where they think that you just won't for some reason or other,
Yeah.
why then they go ahead.
That's right.
I think you're doing exactly right.
Right.
Go ahead, but just let them know that you won't be the aggressor. But if the other, then you've always got the right to determine whether the other guy's the big aggressor.
Well, we'll stay right at it, and I'll keep in touch with you, General.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Effects are rather incredible.
They are incredible. We got the message on Friday night, which was rather forthcoming from them, and then on Saturday we got the one on Turkey, and this morning we got the one going back to their more reasonable position. So we're going to stay right on it and see if we can work up satisfactory verification procedures, but I just wanted to bring you up to date on it. We got a lot of problems still to go, but I think we've made some progress.
That it represents what found for you.
Well, I think we just have to, the rhythm of these things, we'll see what happens this week, but I just wanted you to know I'll keep in touch with you and keep you up to date. Thank you, Mr. President. Bye-bye. But the fact remains that politics has become one of our most abused and neglected professions. It ranks low on the occupational list of a large share of the American politician. Yet it is this profession, it is these politicians who make the great decisions of war and peace, prosperity and recession, the decision whether we look to the future or the past. Paragraph. Like most things in life, like many decisions in life, a combination of factors pressed on me, which directed me into my present profession, period. I think all of us must be willing to give ourselves to this, some of ourselves to this most exacting, to the most exacting discipline of self-government. The magic of politics is not the panoply of office. The magic of politics is participating on all levels of national life in an affirmative way, of determining, of playing a small role in determining whether freedom will not only endure,
whether, in Mr. Faulkner's words, freedom will not only endure, but also prevail.
What I called you about is this damn school construction.
Yeah.
You know, for these schools down and these bases.
Yeah.
Had you wanted the schools to be put up?
Well, I haven't really given this matter any thought at all.
Well, they understood over at HEW. You know, Rulikoff announced it last March, and as I understood it, you weren't exactly happy about that.
Well, I didn't know what. That's right.
And then they, it's quite ridiculous actually, but then they announced back in January, because they understood from Ted Sarnes you wanted to announce, but they were going to put 2 more schools out, and they've announced 6. But for instance, Fort McClellan, they're going to erect a school for, well no, here's one, Fort Rucker. Grades 1 to 6, 892 on-base children, a total of 14 Negro children, and the estimated cost is $742,000.
Just because of the 14?
Yeah. Fort Stewart's 23 children, it's $297,000. Robbins Air Force Base is 8 Negro children, $594,000. Fort Jackson, 18 children, $234,000.
Fort Jackson, where's Fort Jackson?
Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Myrtle Beach Air Force.
What is your suggestion?
Well, and then they're going to put 2 more, so it's 8. It's going to cost about $3 million. We've got a court case, you see, at the present time.
Yeah.
And which probably won't be resolved for another year, or a year and maybe 2 years before it perhaps goes to the Supreme Court, which will resolve all of these matters. What they will do by spending for these 8 places, they'll spend about $3 million, and they'll get